Rangers end the first half of the regular season, and this is what I'm going to stick with, pretty much like they played the rest of the first half. So,
what do you mean the rest of the first half?
Okay, so I want to take a look at like this clump of last 10 games. Obviously, I'm going to selectively edit this to make it fit my scenario, but the last 2 games, Rangers 1-1. Last 8 games, 4-4. Last 10 games, 5-5. So you see a pattern here, but take a look at what happened inside these 10 games. Well, first of all, you defeated Houston for the series win. It
was a big deal.
I know. That was a big
deal.
Especially to Broadus. Do you think it was the biggest deal to Broadus?
So on Friday, as we were leaving, Alec, I heard Broadus, they're doing their show, and he was just like, I just don't want to get swept. And he said that like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, man, the more he says that, the more I feel the same. Like, the more I'm just like, crap, Broadus, you're right, man. And then after they won the first one, I was like, ah! And so I tweeted at him, and I said, Broadus, we're not getting swept.
So think about what prevented the Rangers from getting the sweep, though. And that's where, because you were asking yesterday about, like, has this team showed enough to show that you need to go for it or buy? To me, absolutely not. However, the good news is you still got a couple of weeks on the other side.
I think there is one thing that they may have shown. They're good enough to stand pat.
Agreed.
To not sell.
I agree with that.
You may have convinced Chris Jung by beating Houston.
Right.
Hey, if Houston's the best team on our division and we just own them in their park, could have swept them. What is it that can we go with this team? And I think, was it Morosi that was on this morning?
Yes.
If you have Eovaldi and DeGrom, you're not trying to sell for when you have a duo like that at the front part of your rotation.
Absolutely. So, and from the 940, can we talk about why we shouldn't trade Adolis, because he absolutely owns
it is glorious
the Astros. You are right about that. And we did talk a lot about the prospects of trading Adolis last week, but if you want a stat, here we go. Did you know that Adolis Garcia has 20 home runs against the Astros since 2021? That is the most of any player in that span. So not only does Adolis own the Astros, nobody owns the Astros from a power perspective more than one Adolis Garcia. Positive. Next positive, Nathan Eovaldi. He had 8 strikeouts yesterday. But you know what is most impressive about that? He didn't get a single strikeout until after the 3rd inning.
Really?
So think about that. So he almost goes through the 8th. I think it was 2 outs in the 8th. So he goes from the 4th to the 8th and strikes out 8 people, which is unfreaking believable. And look, you've seen him build since he's come back. Consider this another positive. Nathan Eovaldi has allowed, this is crazy, 1 or 0 runs in 10 of his last 11 starts.
Kevin, I think it was the Cincinnati game early in the season where you had asked Bochy, you were like, hey, do you kind of need Eovaldi to save the bullpen a little bit tonight or whatever it was? And he was like, yeah, like it would be really nice. And he goes out there and I think he could pitch a complete game shutout or 1 run or something. And yesterday was the same thing. You needed him to save the bullpen, and he did it again.
You are absolutely right about that. So not only do you get the win, does he lead the way in the win, it does put some ease up on the bullpen that maybe you didn't have available yesterday. And I know the thought might be, well, you're not playing today. What difference does it make? It makes a difference.
It made a difference for that game.
Yes, and because Boch is like, these people are not available. But yeah, so Eovaldi, 10 of his last 11 starts, including the May 27th appearance, although that is when he left the game after 2 innings, he's given up 0 runs or 1 run. The only one that doesn't fit into that scenario was his first game back. And if you remember, his first game back on June 27th, he didn't go on a rehab assignment, which is usually par for the course. But if Nathan Eovaldi says, I don't need any damn rehab, I feel like you're like, oh, okay.
He did that the World Series year.
Exactly. And so that one, he gave up 3 runs in 3 innings against the Mariners. So if you even think about that in your head as a rehab start,
impressive.
That means, and you take out the other one where he left the game early, 9 of his last 9 full-blown starts, he's given up 0 runs or 1 run. Unfreaking believable. 1.58 ERA, 0.85 whip, both of which are freaking incredible.
And if you just watch his tempo on the mound, Murph said something yesterday that I thought was interesting. You'll see Eovaldi whenever he pulls a fastball or the pitch isn't quite where he expected it to be, he'll turn around and kind of and stare off into center field. And there was that stretch, Kevin, I think between the 4th and 8th, where he didn't do that at all. Like watch his mannerisms on the mound. He works efficiently. He's intense with everything he does. The one pitch that he threw that went to the backstop, did you see that one?
Yeah.
He was even smiling about it afterwards. But like there was just a lot of efficiency in his game. And I think what I love about it, because his splitter was working yesterday too, is Houston walks away from that going, how this dude owns us.
He does.
How do we defeat this guy?
Ooh.
And you're just as a team and as a hitter, you're just kind of lost and stumped, and you don't look forward to playing him again.
You know, this question comes up, and I have a theory, but even I don't agree with this theory.
Okay.
You know, which is not a great sign. We're like, here's what it could be, but even I don't agree with that. How come Nathan Eovaldi isn't an All-Star? I will tell you this. I think at the time they picked the All-Stars, the thought was that like maybe he had just come back, but maybe he wouldn't be back to where he was. But even with the time that he missed, he's still 16th in the American League in wins, which is that's not bad whatsoever. We'll get to the Mizorowski thing later. But he has an ERA that is 0.65 better than the best 2 in the American League. Now, the caveat that comes along with that is I think technically he does not have enough innings yet to qualify.
Okay.
And so that's the issue. But Garrett Crochet and Tarek Skubal both have a 2.23 ERA. Nathan Eovaldi has a 1.58 ERA. Then let's take a look at whips. Tarek Skubal, again, unbelievable season, by far the favorite to win Cy Young. You know what his whip is? 0.83. Nathan Eovaldi is 0.85. My point being, if he just would have had, I don't know, 2 more starts, I really think this would have been a no-brainer. I think that's why he's not on the team. I was surprised when DeGrom dropped out that like the natural progression wasn't, or once we said he wasn't going to pitch, the progression was not to put Eovaldi in there.
I think you and I both agree we're fine with him not being in it, not having to throw anymore. Like just like we are with DeGrom, saying I apologize, guys. I have a regimen that I have to stick to. I'm fine that he's not. But when he struck out somebody yesterday, and Dave Raymond goes, "How's this guy not an All-Star?" And I was just like,
I get it.
Damn right, Dave Raymond. And that's because he's our leader.
Yeah.
And that's you feel like your leader. You know, you're Dak Prescott. He should be on the team that represents the All-Stars, if you will, Pro Bowler, if you will.
We don't do that game anymore.
He's our leader.
Yeah.
He's the guy that we expect when he steps on the mound. All of us take on that personality of Bulldogs today. And that's who he is, and that's why we want that guy there. And he represents what all of Major League Baseball would say is an all-star pitcher.
Yes. And like I said, that's the best theory I could come up with, and even I don't believe that. So I don't know. Let him get his groove. Let him rest up. And here's the better thing if you're thinking about it. Wouldn't that theoretically line up DeGrom and Evo to go out Friday and Saturday against the Tigers?
Yes.
So
let's get that second half kicked off.
Exactly. So if you want a positive for that, there's that. All right. But with the Rangers, nothing is ever as simple as this, right? Nothing is ever as simple as everything is good, stay the course, buddy. Let's take a look at why they didn't sweep. And that's the frustrating part, is you had a really good chance at sweeping. And I don't just mean like you could have swept so you could have gotten a game closer to the Astros necessarily, as much as we talk about, staying in the wild card mix. take a look at what happened, let's say, in Sunday's game. Josh Smith struck out to start the game.
Okay.
Going back to when Corey Seager walked in the 8th inning on Friday, did you know that the Rangers had gone 21 straight strikeouts without a walk?
I did not know that.
So their offense, they had 20. I mean, it wasn't obviously back to back to back to back, but I'm saying since they got a walk on Friday night, and they eventually got 2 walks on Sunday, in between they had 21 straight strikeouts before they had a walk. So issue, but let's take a look at Saturday's game.
Okay.
And that's why I say the last 10 games are very emblematic of what this entire season has been. How did they do? They went 5-5. Oh, did they get run in their losses? Not really. They lost 1 game by 1 run. They lost 2 more in extra innings. They lost that other one against the Angels. I think it was in the bottom of the 8th, essentially, where that game was decided. But Saturday, they lose in extra innings against the Astros. Do you know what their runner in scoring position was for the game? Their average or their, whatever.
Left on. 4?
So I'm looking for the batting.
Okay.
So they went 2 for
gotcha.
17.
Oh, wow.
2 for 17. Now, if your
bad.
If your argument is it's going to be inflated because of extra innings, all right, I get that. Before you got to that scenario, you were 2 for 11, and consider
It's
this.
bad.
It is. It's terrible.
And when they're bad, that's when they're at their worst.
You are so right about that. And consider this. It made sense to me. Consider this. When they tied the game, that was in a runner in scoring position scenario, which means they were 1 for 10. So in a game that goes to extra innings, you were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. You get that hit. Now you're 2 for 11. And guess what? You get 6 more at bats and nothing from there. And so 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position in the game that you lost. Or I guess, 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. And so that's one of the reasons that you weren't able to sweep. And I just wanted to bring up 2 of the major issues that we have had for this team all season long is the strikeouts to go along with the plate discipline and then runners in scoring position. And you saw both of those things haunt you in this game.
Feels like, and yes, runners in scoring position has been the big problem because we were looking at some splits over the months, or I was this morning and throwing them at you.
Yes.
And home runs, you're just like, it feels like we're hitting more home runs.
Sure.
But it's because they're just hitting better. They're hitting better with runners in scoring position.
True.
Say for Saturday, and a couple games here and there.
Yesterday was better.
When they're putting them on, you're like, oh, there's a lot of singles and doubles. They're driving balls into gaps. It's not that they're just sitting there going, all right, we're hitting 2-run home runs every time we get an opportunity for this. That being said, though, seeing Adolis' bomb the way that he hit that one out, and Marcus Simeon's home run too. I know it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but Marcus Simeon hitting a home run against Houston puts an exclamation point on it for me. And I know some dude got mad at Jared saying there's no professionalism from Jared because of how much he hates the Astros. I hate the Astros too, so don't call me unprofessional as well.
Oh,
but when Marcus Simeon hits a home run against Houston in Houston, it's like I just put my foot on home plate. And guess what? Remember the last time I did that to y'all?
Yeah.
I just stomped on you.
Look, Corey's right. I think we're going to have more in-depth research about the obvious improvement of the Rangers offense since the start of June. And that includes runners in scoring position. It includes a whole lot of other things. By the way, somebody asked, how is Josh Jung doing in the minors? So I'll give you the numbers, but I think this is the proper breakdown. So he's
not lighting it up.
No, definitely not.
He's in a bad place.
7 games, 7 hits. He's 7 for 28 with a .250 batting average. The issue is not really showing any power at that level, and that is what's led to his OPS, which is .621. It's tough because that's just 7 games, and you can turn that around really quickly, but you would hope you'd go down to the minors, and in 7 games, you'd be like, holy crap, he's hitting .315, and his OPS is .950, or whatever, and you're like, bring him back.
It is, more than anything, that tells me what Boach was telling us is true. Look at the guys that are hitting great right now for the Rangers, and their timing looks like they've got it.
Yeah.
Josh Jung's timing was off.
Agreed. So that's kind of, we get to the All-Star break kind of sort of where I think a lot of us have felt for most of the run is like, Corey's right. I don't want to see this team sell either because I see the inherent benefits of staying in the race, especially if you make the playoffs with that 1-2 terrifying starting pitching group. But at the same point, like, what have you seen that's led you to believe that this team's about to go on an 8-game tear and stay above 500 for the rest of the regular season and make a true push at it?
I'll see it when I believe it, as Patrick Mahomes once said.
Look, you win that many Super Bowls, you can say stuff.